Do you remember 2019? It feels like yesterday, but somehow it's been years. Think about it. The song you had on repeat, the phone you carried in your pocket, the games you played, the people you knew, and the version of yourself who had absolutely no idea what the next few years would look like. All of that is farther away than it feels. So why does it feel like you could reach out and touch it? Here is the strange part. If I asked you what you did last Tuesday, you would probably struggle to remember, but ask yourself about a random day from years ago. Maybe you remember where you were, who you were with, what your room looked like, maybe even the song that was playing. Why? Because our experience of time isn't built from clocks alone. It's shaped by attention, experience, and memory. And that's where things get weird. Think about going on vacation. While you are there, the days can fly by. You wake up somewhere new, you see new places, meet new people, try things you have never done before, and suddenly this week is over. But when you look back, that same week can feel surprisingly long. Psychologists have described this kind of experience as the holiday paradox. And the interesting part is the difference between experiencing time and remembering it. While you are actually on the trip, you are busy. Everything is happening, so the days can feel like they are flying. But afterward, you have all these distinct memories. A place you visited, a person you met, something unexpected that happened, a moment you didn't plan for, and those moments become landmarks in your memory. Novelty gives your brain something to notice. Now, compare that to an ordinary day. You wake up, check your phone, go to school or work, come home, scroll, sleep, then do it again, and again, and again. There is nothing inherently wrong with any of those things. But when the same patterns repeat over and over, your days can become harder to distinguish from one another. You are almost on autopilot. Not literally unconscious. You are still there. You are still experiencing everything. But fewer moments feel distinct. Monday looks like Tuesday. Tuesday looks like Wednesday. And suddenly an entire month has passed, then a year, and when you try to remember it, there aren't as many landmarks, not because nothing happened, but because so much of it looked the same. And then there is the way we spend our time now, scrolling. Every few seconds, a new face, a new song, a new joke, a new story, a new video. It feels like constant novelty, but look at what we are actually doing. Swipe, watch, again and again and again. I'm not saying scrolling literally makes time move faster. It doesn't. But it raises an interesting question. What happens to our experience of time when our attention is constantly being pulled from one tiny piece of content to another? We already know that attention affects what we notice and remember, and when our attention is fragmented, individual moments can become harder to distinguish from each other. So you can spend 3 hours on your phone, look at the clock, and genuinely wonder, where did that time go? Maybe the strange part isn't that the time passed. Maybe it's that so little of it feels memorable. And maybe this is why certain years feel so strange when we look back at them. It isn't necessarily because time was slower back then, and it isn't because your brain is secretly deleting entire years. Maybe it's because the years that stand out to us are filled with landmarks, first experiences, new places, new people, moments we didn't know would become memories. Novelty creates landmarks. Routine erases the boundaries between days. And as life becomes more familiar, those landmarks can become harder to notice. So the years don't necessarily become shorter, they can simply become harder to remember. So maybe the real question isn't where did the time go? Maybe it's what will I actually remember from it? Because one day today will be yesterday, and when that happens, you won't be able to go back and make those memories. You can only make them now, so maybe make some worth remembering.